Warner Robins Police.
Warner Robins Police. Warner Robins Police.
The entire Warner Robins Police Department Narcotics Investigation Unit is on administrative leave tonight.
All parties are innocent until proven guilty. That's kind of where we're at.
I spoke to a woman who says the investigation stems from her interaction with officers of the narcotics unit. She told us that her boyfriend was arrested during a recent traffic stop with drugs in the car. After that, she says an officer with the unit attempted to force her to sell the drugs to help their investigation.
District Attorney William Kendall said he's cleared 4 of the 6 officers of any wrongdoing.
This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Just to let you know, it's recorded.
Yes, sir.
So I've been tasked to look into the things that are going on with NIU. Just to get started, tell me, and it's 3/25 on the, what's the date? 20th. And just tell me, how long have you been in law enforcement?
25 years.
25. And how long have you been associated with NIU?
Total?
Mm-hmm.
3 years, 2015 to about 13 years, somewhere around there.
How long was a supervisor?
Since 2015, I was the lieutenant, and then I went, once I got promoted to captain, I was over NIU and CID since 2015, pretty much.
And you've been captain how long?
2 years now, I think, Bob. I think it just got me email, so it's 2 years. 2 years. I just got it yesterday.
Was there any special training with the CIs and drug investigations?
You said special training?
Yes.
No.
That you went through, or do you require the officers to go through?
Say it again, I hear you.
Do you require the officers to go in through any special training dealing with CIs or drug investigations?
They get the special training for us. The class that goes at DECEPTIVE, but as far as once they initially get there, it's normally, hands on. Someone shows you how to do it. We never would. That was one of the first things we get. We didn't never get first training with the CIs or none. So it was always you go to someone, they show you how it's done manually until you got classes at DECEPTIVE.
So do you have a FTO program within the drug unit?
No, there's not one that's set forward. Okay.
Do you ever had any concerns with the people you work with?
No, sir, I've never had any.
Not even the one that went to the Savannah and got in trouble down there?
No, when he got what?
When he got in trouble with the drugs. Wasn't he working in NIU?
That, DeBry?
I don't remember.
No, DeBry, but that was something that had been...
That I can remember, that's the only one.
It was the one that got in trouble in Savannah, that's what you're talking about?
Yes.
That was DeBry. It was something that I don't want to sound like I'm being pressed, but his lifestyle, I knew it was leading to that. I knew the kind of people he was hanging around with, but I had no, we don't have at PD, like working drug unit, just random selection of drug investigators will get. Your analysis says there's got to be a reason for you to do it, or you get that anonymous call to go. And my thing was something I said was the fact that we're in the drug unit, we should be required, mandatory that we have to take one every 3 months, but not knowing what day to when. But then every 3 months you take one. But that was something else.
But they don't do that.
No, we don't have a policy where, as a drug investigator, we're required to take any kind of analysis other than that the random test we got.
So you've never had any issues with the group that you're working with now?
No, sir.
Is there any policies and procedures when a member of NIU makes a traffic stop, utilizes a body cam?
Yeah, they're supposed to, when they're going out on call or doing something, they're supposed to have a body cam on.
Are all of them equipped with a body cam?
Yes, everybody has a body cam. Everybody has a body camera.
Let's say you got 3 guys in a car and they make a pullover in an unmarked car. Are all 3 supposed to be wearing a body cam?
Everybody should have a body camera, yes, sir.
Is that in policy?
I have to look, but yes, I mean, that's one of the things that they put in place, that we will wear body cam. That's why everybody got one. Even I wear mine when I go out. It's something that, because I always tell them, where's your body? I always ask them, where's your body cam? You're supposed to have it on. That is something that they're supposed to have on at all times.
What's the rule on turning the audio off?
You're not supposed to turn the audio off at any point in time doing that thing. And, I understand you may, if it's something you don't want a body cam, then as if you're talking to a CI, someone you may be trying, but our policy states that it's not, even though you may be doing it to whatever, I guess, keep the person safe or whatever you want to do, but policy states we can't do it because when you look at it, it looks like you may be trying to hide something, but no, they're not supposed to, it's not supposed to be turned off.
What if I take off my body cam and give it to you and let you utilize it while I'm working?
That's circumventing policy. And that's, in my opinion, circumventing policy.
So let's say you do a drug bust on a traffic stop, and you want to work the person you stopped as a CI. What's the procedure?
Well, the procedure before, we had the roadside stuff, but once Will came to place, David came down and told me to him how to do it, and since that time we was following that policy, because I know that the last one was doing that meeting when they.
So what was being done prior to Will change?
No longer in effect. Should not be in effect.
So what were they doing then?
What it's always been like, okay, say for instance, if we were to arrest somebody, came down to jail, and then it's like, hey, I can do such and such and such and such, and then okay. It was one of those things. We was, as Will said, we was granted immunity when we can't grant immunity, and that was just the way we was always taught to do it until someone told us the correct and right way to do it.
So what's the policy now?
What's the policy now? That before any form of a deal is made, we have to call one of the ADAs or Will and get the okay. To make sure we can work that person, make sure they don't have any other case pending or that may involve something else with someone else, but we have to get someone from the DA's office approval to use that person.
So what's the rules and understanding between the CI and the investigator? What's the ground rules on what you can do, what you can't do, what you shouldn't do?
We specifically states in the policy, you don't tell them by your work boards. We don't give you can't go out and sell drugs or buy drugs unless you doing the work that we're with you and you're doing it for us. You can't go out on a Saturday night without telling us anything, go out and sell dope, and you get caught there. You got to be working with us if you're doing anything that's related to the drugs.
So they can sell drugs?
Say again?
They can sell drugs?
No, not I don't know why I said sell, but to go out, if they're going out to make a buy, it's with all money and we're present. No, they can't sell drugs. No, we don't allow that,
Well, that's what you said. All right. What kind of documentation is, let's say that you're going to be my CI, what do I have to do? Prior to Will coming along and what you're supposed to do now?
I mean, first, before
as far as documentation.
Okay, if it's someone that's not on, that would not just want to come up work, or someone that has a charge pending and wants to work.
And this is prior to Will coming along?
Prior to Will coming along with someone want to work, we'll put the evidence and hold that case. And then, you got to do, at least, you got to do greater than what you were stopped with.
So what's the new rules now?
So again,
what's the new rules now since Will?
The new rule is, we stop them, we get with Will, and he says, okay, they can work, and with them, they make the parameters as to what they got to do to satisfy the charge they have pending.
Is there any documentation? Do they fill out any paperwork?
As far as what they have to do?
Know who the person is?
Yes. I mean, as for the CI? Or,
Yes.
Yes, they fill out, we have a CI form. They fill it out, they sign it, say, these are the rules that you gotta follow by. You can't and can't use it as a reference, you can't file taxes on the money if we're paying you anything of that nature.
How often or how soon should that paperwork be filled out?
Paperwork should be filled out immediately if they're gonna become a CI, or you have to say before,
So if I stop you on the road and I bring you to the station,
you should still fit that
and
paperwork. should
before
fill
you
out.
walk out, that paperwork ought to be filled out.
Paperwork should be filled out, yes.
And where is that kept?
But that's kept at the NIU's office in the lock file.
And who has access to it?
David has the keys to it.
Nobody else has.
Yes, no one else has the keys to the file but David.
So if I'm working dope, and I never worked dope, that wasn't part of my job in my 33 years.
Yes.
So there ain't a whole lot I know about working dope.
Yes.
But I know about the CIs, and in CID we had money to pay the
Yes.
informants and what have you. But does a supervisor have to approve the utilization of the CI
Yes.
now?
Yes.
And what's the procedure on that? If me and somebody else are working in the NIU and we make a traffic stop and we decide that we're going to turn this arrestee into a CI, and the supervisors are off, how does that go about? Are they required to call?
Well, I haven't been in a situation where the supervisor hasn't been available because I'm there 99% of the time. But normally, because we have to run a criminal history, make sure they're on probation or parole, if they always have to, at that point in time, we have to let Will know that they're on probation or parole so he can decide whether or not, we can use them still or not. So, but it should be, the latest the paperwork should be done is no later than before you use them.
So you run the paperwork and they're on parole or probation, or are you required to call a PO before you utilize them?
No, because because I didn't meet with what David did, but the way David said Will was like, that's probation parole procedure, but it's not something that they have to follow, because if he said the least amount of people that knows they're using the CI is about the other words that David advised me that Will said. So, but before we would have to get a parole, you have to get probation officer, then you have to go through their system and through the judge to get the okay.
Do you have any CIs
Do I have any?
still?
No, sir. Mine's all been, I turned over.
When was the last time you used one?
About the last time I used one was when I left the drug unit the first time, because when I left the drug unit the first time and went to marshal service, I got promoted to sergeant, so I went back to patrol. I stayed patrol till 2015 when I came back as a supervisor, and I didn't work them. People that I knew, I would give them to me. If they need something, I say, you can call this person right here, and then they work them. But I haven't.
In your prime time when Billy was kicking ass on the street,
Yeah.
how many CIs did you have at one time?
4, 5 at the max. It's kind of hard if you got more than, if you got a good CI, you really only need like 2 of them. I mean, 2 to 3 at the max, but no.
Any idea how many CIs Harvey's got?
No, sir, I could take it. I couldn't tell you, but I think their version of a CI is someone that they signed up and they never use. They signed them up, they got them on the paperwork as CI, but they haven't used them. Because I can tell.
Because they wouldn't work or they wouldn't use them?
He just hasn't worked them, because a lot of times you'll get a CI, they say they can do this and can do that.
And they can't.
But when the time comes, they don't do nothing. And like I said, we're doing the side of the road deals and stuff. So, what you gonna do now? It's been 5-6 months. You ain't used them. You got the drugs still sitting in the property room, but you haven't used them. So, kind of like you're at a loss.
Are you familiar with the Lewis and Melissa?
I'm very
Arrest?
familiar. I'm familiar with Luis because I dealt with him previous long time ago. I don't know the female at all. I just know that day that he got arrested. David told me they arrested him and he had to.
So tell me what you know about that arrest.
I know we was in the meeting and David kept getting bounced back and forth. I was like, what are you doing? He's like,
Which meeting? Here?
yeah, the meeting we had here that day.
Okay.
And he was like, they just arrested Luis. He had fentanyl in his butt, and I'm giving Ryan to see if we can use the female because she wants to work. And that was the last thing I knew about. I never, when was it? It may have been that Saturday. My little cousin called me. She's like, my best friend's brother got arrested. I said, who is that? She said, Luis and why didn't his girlfriend get arrested? I said, well, Luis had the fentanyl up his butt chute, so she didn't have any drugs on her, and that was it. But I never knew, I didn't even know the girls' names. Still don't know her name until you just told me. Because I had no idea who she was until, but they didn't even tell my name other than that. I guess the day when she made an allegation that they was forcing her to do it, and David. It's like it was the girl with Luis Hernandez. I still didn't get her name.
So what did you just say?
That,
They were forcing her to do what?
when David said that she made a issue with a probation officer, they was forcing her to work. She told the probation officer.
Tell me about that conversation.
The only thing I know is that, as far as my conversation with that was, they said that the probation officer called, because I went out there for something, because they're on the west end of town. I just wanted something, and they was telling me that that female made an allegation that they was forcing her to work, and they was like, there wasn't truth to it. I didn't even ask anything further about it, because David told me he had called Will and told him. So I said, he's notified Will, there's nothing for me to see more about.
At what point did you hear about this investigation?
Wayne, whatever, I don't know what day it was last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. No, it was the weekend before. Well, the day up, but I guess when it actually started. Wayne said, call all your people, make sure everybody's available at 2 o'clock to be out in West End town. Okay, so I said, all right, call David. I said, make sure everybody's available. He said, well, Raleigh's on leave. I said, okay, I didn't have anything. I didn't know what it was about. So I said, when we get there, I just let Wayne know that Raleigh's on leave. So I get there, and Wayne comes in with a paint bucket. So I was looking to put your city phone in there. If I put the phone, I got a point. He said, you don't need to put yours in there. It's okay. So he said, where Raleigh? I said, Raleigh's on leave. He said, can you get in contact with him? So I called him, and he finally showed up and got his phone. And he just said, he just said there's an investigation going on. He didn't say who it was, what it was about, and then I can't. What's your partner name right next door? Came, got the phones, and left. And then Will came back last Wednesday, Thursday, and talked with him. He didn't say what it was about. We just said what the process was and where it was at as far as the investigation.
And that's all that you know about the investigation?
Yeah, that's all I know. I said didn't even know that girl's name until you just told me. I knew about Luis because he had the fentanyl in his butt, but that was it. I didn't know anything else about it. Anything about the female.
So as a commander, do you follow up with Adriance to find out if the girl that was turned to a CI is going to produce?
I would have, but there was really a whole lot of time in between before this allegation came up.
Are you familiar with anyone in the drug unit purposely deleting information from their city-issued phone?
You said deleting?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, no, sir. If I knew, I would take care of it. No, sir, I don't know it. If they are, then lo and behold. That's the only thing I know.
If a CI told you that that you've been buying from your supplier, okay, and if that CI told you the drug agent wanted you to make a buy, and the CI told you that well, I can't buy anymore because I owe him $1,500. If you're the drug agent and that conversation came up and you're asking the CI, you know, can you buy? And they tell you, I can't buy from him because I owe him money. What would you tell them, or what would you do?
First of all, you owe the money. We're not going to be used because we're not going to be able to pay your debt for you. So how you give me? So you should know that you're not going to be able to use her for that person anyway, because she.
I mean, you've got a guy that you really want.
But
I mean, this motherfucker can turn a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but
And what are you going? What would you do?
It would depend if some that's going to go to Fed, because sometimes the Fed will pay a debt if it's a really big person that they need to get, and with it being fentanyl, I would think about, you know, okay, before I do it, I would make sure it would be okay with my boss. You know, this person is selling this fentanyl that's killing people. If that would be the case, but I'm not going to $1,500. We're not buying it. We're not paying it, and I will have to be okay with that. They will have to come to me for that.
What would happen if I told you, let's say I'm the investigator, and you're my CI, and you tell me that you owe the guy money, $1,500, and I say, well, you need to sell the dope you got and repay him so you can buy some for us. What would you think about that?
If I, being the investigator, told the CI you need to sell the dope you got so you can pay him, then you can work for us.
Yes.
That negative. That's a no-go. We can't get in by authorization selling drugs. No, that's a no-go. Can't normally tell something. No.
So that had never occurred that you know.
And not in my presence, or have I ever been made aware of any such.
Have you got any other information that you think I need to know about any of the people in NIU that you have concerns about?
No, sir, Bobby, I had no concerns until that last statement you just asked me. So, prior to that, I had no concerns. I felt all of them to be good, credible, working people, but that last statement got me a little bit.
Would it be logical for me to say, well, I got some condemned funds, I'll pay the bad guy. I'll give you the $1,500 with the approval of my boss, and you can pay the debt, and then you can turn around and buy from the supplier. Would that be illogical? If you really wanted that guy over there,
If we knew he was a major player and he's selling stuff that's killing the people, yes, that would be something that I would definitely consider. But to tell some, no, the other thing.
well, I'm gonna tell you from Bobby to Billy, okay? Our conversation needs to stay our conversation.
Yes, sir.
I know it's being recorded,
Yes, sir. That's what I'm.
but I would ask you that
No doubt, no problem, sir.
when you go back to work,
Like before.
I'm sure the word will get out. You've been down there talking to Bobby, and
Right, yes, sir.
you know-
It's like people been asking, what's still waiting on you? I said, nothing I can discuss. They'll be back to work when they get back to work.
well, anything we discuss
Yes, sir.
stays that way.
No problem.
Anything else I need to know before you leave?
Nothing that I'm aware of, sir.
Nobody on your radar that you have concerns about?
No, sir. There was nothing that I've seen working with them when I was direct lieutenant over them. And because when I was there, I had a direct hand on what's happening. I was there, and then I don't want to bash nobody, but they put someone there who wasn't hands-on, who didn't have the strong will, you know, to tell them, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, no, you're not going to do this. So with me, it was never that way, because they know if I told them to do something, not do something, that's the way it was. But not with it, I didn't have anything, but
Was David Adriance promoted with them?
Yeah, David got promoted white.
So he was an investigator that worked with these people?
Yeah,
And
David,
he made sergeant?
then he made sergeant, and then they brought Brett over to be the lieutenant.
Right.
Rosen,
How long has David been supervisor?
right at 2 years.
I appreciate you coming down.
No problem, sir.
Short notice.
No problem. Just because when it's like Bobby's trying to get in touch with you, was you down at 955?
No, he did it the last damn time I tried to get over.
Because I think Brendan may have that number. That's Brendan Smith's Marshal Service number.
It didn't even go through.
Oh, it did?
Well, it was undeliverable or some shit. But, I changed it in my phone, but.
Yep,
that damn number-
I just put it in my phone.
That
I got
damn
the
number keeps popping up.
I got your number there.
Anything else?
No, sir?
All right, man.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
You don't have no time frame, do you?
I have no idea.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
See ya.